Guys, we'll get started here with the podcast in just a minute. I'll make sure the audio is set up. We'll jam out a little bit before I get started. Guys, we'll get started in just a second. If you're there watching, let me know. I'd like to see who's watching. I love this song so much. I'm a big reggae fan, just so you guys know. I grew up in Northern California, and the Emerald Triangle. One of my greatest memories is going to Reggae in the River. Loved it. Festival in which you had about 50 to 70,000 people in Humboldt County and along the river in the redwoods. It was a good time. But I always love reggae. Just dig it. Makes you feel good, happy music. Well, let's go ahead, guys. We'll get started. Thank you. If you're watching this, if you're listening to it, Winning at Work and Home podcast, episode number 132. It's an interesting title, right? Winning at Work and Home. What does that really mean? I'm not sure what it really means. I think hopefully we're just trying to become better people, and we're aware, and we're trying to be better moms, better dads, better spouses, improve a little bit in our careers, whatever it may be. Somebody can be doing incredibly well and maybe in their financial endeavors in their career, but then could be struggling at home tremendously. Somebody could be, having a amazing relationship at home, but be struggling in addiction or finances or something like that. So we never know, but one of the things that we can know, and one of the things I think we can understand is we live in a broken world, and a world of broken people, a world of woundedness, and a world in which people are wounded. And that's just the way it is. So, one of the reasons why I love to do this podcast is really, for me, it's healing, it's therapy, it's getting my thoughts out. And if I'm able to contribute in any way, to maybe somebody that's going through a hard time or having a hard time or needs a little bit of motivation, needs a little honesty, transparency, whatever it may be, I just love to do it. It's something that I'm really, really passionate about, and I always come back to. And, I was doing these podcasts for a while, and then I stopped and to deal with some personal healing myself, right? It's been 30 months of healing and working on myself and therapy and working in relationships and things like that. So it's nice to be able to come back, I feel, with a different perspective, a different mindset, a much more, self-awareness and humility may be a good word too in regards to it. But just a genuine caring and a genuine understanding and empathy for individuals, because I don't care who you are. We are all going through some hard things, and definitely in 2020, how everything was shaking out, it's a challenge. Briley, how are you doing? Hope you're enjoying Florida if you're still there. But I think it's amazing. So I want to talk about a couple of things. We're continuing our discussion of the Greatest Salesman in the World by Og Mandino, just a great little book. And like I said, when I put a post out asking if people have read that book, got some good feedback in regards to that. So I want to do that. But I also want to tell you about a funny bet too that I did with my kids. We were coming back from church yesterday, and One of my boys mentioned this guy, Cameron Hummel. I guess he runs like a marathon a day. I don't know if that's the case or true or whatever. I didn't really check it out, but we were kind of talking before I know it. The Eddies are pretty competitive in general. I think the day before we just got back from Unser kart racing, those go-karts that go like 50 miles an hour, 55 and 60, and it was crazy. You get the Eddies in these go-karts trying to get at it. Everybody got injured except for me on these go-karting, right? Nothing major, but just the competitiveness is crazy. And I think the only reason why I didn't get injured is because I weigh more and I have a little bit more padding and I'm not bouncing around as much. But actually, this is the first time I haven't gotten some kind of injury go-karting. And it's such a fun thing to do. I remember as real estate agents, we did that, I think 4 or 5 years ago. DMAR had us, all these real estate agents go and do this karting, and that was pretty competitive as well. But anyways, getting back to the bet. So we were coming back from church, and we live in some acreage, and we have a loop that goes around. And they're like, Dad, I bet you can't even run 5 laps around that loop without stopping. And they start teasing me, and of course I get competitive. So I'm like, whatever, man, I'll go ahead and bet you guys if you guys really can't think that I can't run those laps. And it's just under a mile. So each lap is just under a mile. And some of you guys might be thinking, well, dude, that's like less than 5 miles. What's the big deal? Well, the big deal is I'm not a runner. I weigh a little bit. I weigh like 245. I'm not really into running. I like to say that I have exercise-induced asthma, so I'm better maybe like in short sprints or something like that. But yeah, I went ahead and did it, and the kids came out, and I ran. I actually did a bonus lap. I did 6 laps, and I did a bonus one, and it was so funny because that 6th lap, I don't know why I did the bonus. It was not a good decision because, when you think you're good at 5 and then you get a little fired up, like, I'm going to do an extra one. I did the extra one and my legs started cramping and it was just not good. I got nauseous, almost felt like I was going to get sick. But either way, I did it. So I was so sore. It was unbelievable. So I have a lot of respect for runners out there. I have a lot of respect for people that can go ahead and run those long distances. I got to check out the guy Cameron Hummel. I think another guy is David. What's the other guy? The big motivational guy. There's a guy out there that runs as well. And it's just crazy. But I got it done. So they lost the bet and I won. And now they know that not to challenge Dad with things like that because I will get it done. And I had the worst playlist ever. I borrowed my boys' Beats and it was like I was getting these slow songs. I didn't know how to change it. Luckily on the 5th lap, I got some good songs. So then I felt all fired up. So anyways, that's a little story. Not sure how that helped in any way. Just information, but let's go ahead and get to the scrolls of the richest man in Babylon. So we talked about, not the richest man, the greatest salesman in the world. The richest man in Babylon is another book that's incredibly powerful. That would be very, very good to read as well. So scroll number 7, I'm not going to go through all of them since Mark, how are you? Babbled on so much about my running. But scroll number 7, go back to the other podcast, go back or just look at, search up The Greatest Salesman in the World by Og Mandino, the scrolls, you can get information. But scroll number 7 is the power of laughter. He talks about that only man can laugh. Laughter improves your health, your digestion, your outlook. There's so much that we can do. And I think especially with everything that's going on, laughter is incredibly important in our life. And we need to learn to, be able to laugh at ourselves, right? I think that's important. I think laughter helps us put things in perspective, right? Sometimes we get so stressed and we get so uptight. And if we can just laugh, right? Whatever it may be, even though yesterday was hard and fun with the kids and this and that, it was fun. We had a good time. I know they were laughing as I was running. They were riding their bikes behind me, just having a good time. And I think that's important that we do laugh, right? I think words to remember that they talk about is this too shall pass, right? Whatever hardships that you're going through, a good phrase or a good way to look at it is this too shall pass. And when you say that, it will help keep things in balance, right? It's not going to go on forever. Whatever hardship you're going through, it's not going to last forever. Sometimes it feels like it's going to last forever. Sometimes we feel like there's no hope. But if we're able to laugh, if we're able to understand that this too shall pass, and it also helps us put in perspective too, when we say things like this too shall pass, we also have to understand that the good things will pass as well, right? We may be having an incredibly good day today, and if we understand that that too will pass, right? That tomorrow may not be as good as what's going on right now, and what that helps us do is enjoy the day, enjoy the moments, be present in the moment. If you're having a good conversation or good laughter or good joy, really take it in. Take it in. Do not just gloss over it. And that's so incredibly important. Another part that he talks about on scroll number 7 is choose always happiness over sadness when the choice is before you. I mean, there's some times where we don't have the choice, where things are sad and that's just the way it is, and it's hard and it's challenging. But sometimes we do have the choice to choose happiness over sadness, okay? And sometimes that just comes from a choice, right? From making a correct choice. I was in Mexico with a family a couple weeks ago, or about a week ago, and I did a mindset minute in regards to that. If you haven't heard my mindset minutes, I like to do little minute videos. But I talked about it's very hard to be unhappy when you're doing something good for yourself. When you make a choice to do an activity that makes you feel good, it's very hard to be unhappy. So what that means is a lot of times we have a choice. We have a choice, to get up and to do something and to take action, whatever that may be, to get ourselves out of that sadness. So sometimes we need to sit in that sadness. Sometimes we need to feel it. But also, often too, what we can do is make a choice to do something that's going to help us get out of that, right? And that could be taking a walk. It could be journaling. It could be whatever it may be. It could be exercising, doing something. So we always need to lean in the direction of happiness, of those choices. And I think laughter too, it puts failures in their place. It increases goodness and progression. It improves relationships. I think it's so important. If you're able to laugh with somebody, it improves that relationship when you have a good laugh. And when we do that, we're grateful and we're happy. So I think it's incredibly important. So scroll number 7 is the power of laughter, and really understanding that, guys, to put things in perspective, and choose laughter when you can, and understand that the hardships that are going on right now, if you can just say to yourself that this too shall pass, and then go on and make some choices that will get you out of that mindset. So scroll number 8 is multiply your value every day. And I think this is so interesting, that how do we multiply our value? And one of the ways that we do that is nurture our bodies and our mind. There's no need to wait. So every single day we can make the choices to do something that is going to nurture us. It's going to increase our mind, right? And increase our mindset and our body. I think another way that Og talks about in the book is to set goals for the day, the month, and the year. Have objectives, have goals out there. Look at your past performances and set goals just a little bit higher, right? I think it's important that when we set goals, they're goals that stretch us a little bit, and we're coming into 2021, and a lot of people are goal setting right now. And one of the ways I feel that we need to make sure that our goals are proper is just setting them where they stretch us, where they make us do things a little bit differently. And I think that's going to be important. I love that he talks about, I may meet difficulties in the rise and fall of life. I will go forward. Okay, we're gonna have difficulties in anything that we're gonna try to achieve. John Maxwell talks about, everything worthwhile is uphill. You don't coast your way to success, right? And when I'm talking about success, whatever that looks like for you, right? I'm in the real estate business and I work with realtors, and a lot of them have a different idea of success. Some individuals want to build large teams and close over 300 transactions a year. And some would just be happy with closing, 15 to 20, 25, and they're good, and that's perfect. So I really think those goals, okay, have to be set up what works for you. And I think that's incredibly important. It talks about focus. I will not worry about things that happened yesterday. Okay, this is not worry about things that happened yesterday. Too often what we do, I think, is we live in the past, maybe past failures, maybe past regrets. And I love that, guys. I talked about this, I think, 3 or 4 podcasts ago about turning the page. It was a great little story that Matthew McConaughey talked about in his book, Green Lights, which I think is a great book. I really love that book. But about turning the page. That when something bad happens in your life, you learn from it, you move on, you make adjustments, but you turn the page and you become a better person because of that. So I think that's incredibly important. I will not worry about big worrying obstacles in the future, right? Those obstacles, those things that we may have to face in the future, we may or we may not, but we don't need to spend our days worrying about them. And I think that's incredibly important. Another thing, I will not worry about what others are achieving. I think one of the biggest ways to become unhappy immediately, to feel immediately unhappy, is by comparing. And I think so much of what goes on with screen time, when we look on Instagram, Brian, how are you doing? When we look on Facebook and we see everybody's highlight reels, and we don't feel good, right? I mean, sometimes I feel guilty about, we had a great trip to Mexico. Sometimes I feel guilty about, posting the great family photos. You know what I'm saying? It's just because, of how it may make somebody else feel. And it's very interesting, that whole comparison thing. And it really, really does make a difference in people's lives. And when we focus on what others are achieving, and what we may not be achieving or may not be getting done in our life, and what we think those other people are, it can make us feel unhappy. So we need to be aware of that. He talks about just focusing on today and set goals for tomorrow. So focus on today and then set goals for tomorrow. One of the things that I love to do when I'm really on it and I really feel good and I want to stay focused, is I have what I have here. I'm not sure if you see it, my day page. It's a form that I fill out the night before I go to bed when I'm really focused on it. I'm kind of flaking right now, to be honest with you. Not doing that well with it. Excuse me. But really what that does is it helps me at the end of the day rate my day. How did I do spiritually? How did I do as a father? How did I do as a husband? How did I do, financially? How did I do physically? Right? How did I do recreationally? Did I do the things that are going to make me feel a little bit better, right? And I think when we can focus on getting what we need to get done in the day, and then setting those goals for tomorrow, and really having a game plan for the day, I think that's incredibly important. So think about that. Another thing is, we're talking about scroll number 8, multiply your value every day. How can we be good every single day in regards to improving is announcing your goals to others. They may laugh, but they will know my plans. That's what he writes about in The Greatest Salesman. Sometimes what holds us back from achieving our goals and our dreams is really other people's opinion. And, it's a big thing. I listen to Gary Vaynerchuk, and I'm not sure if any of you listen to Gary V, but one of the things I think in the gifts that he has is he really is not too concerned about what other people think. He is and he isn't. And I think that's a big thing. I think when there's things and there's passions in our hearts and things that we like to share and do and go after, what happens is we get worried about what other people are going to think. Just in regards to doing this, I get worried sometimes, and I think when I'm not in the great mindset, like, ooh, Damon's, why is he doing that? And people think, well, why, he probably doesn't have anything good to share. Why are you doing that? And it can kind of hold you back. But I think the most successful people, in regards to when you talk about success, and I really think success a lot of times is this really loving others and really making a positive influence in other people's lives. And when you invest in other people's lives, whether that's a lot of people or just your family, it takes risk and it takes courage to do so, because you may feel that rejection, or that rejection may come. And I think it's important to not worry about other people's opinions. I think that's incredibly, incredibly good mindset to have in regards to that. So I think that's it, guys. I think I'm done talking about that today, as we went over scrolls number 7 and number 8. Scroll number 7, the power of laughter. Scroll number 8, multiply your value every day. Hopefully this was beneficial. This podcast is located all over the place. So iTunes, should be on Spotify, should be all over the place. So if you like this podcast, if you could go and rate it, put a rating on it, that would be awesome. And I hope you guys have an amazing, amazing, wonderful day. If you ever need anything, I love for people to reach out to me. I love to help people. I love to encourage people. I think one of my gifts and one of the things I love to do is just to encourage. Because I do know there's a lot of pain, there's a lot of struggle. Life is hard, right? And I talked about it before in a previous podcast that, if 80% of your day, if about 20% of your day goes pretty well, 80% of it's kind of messed up a little bit. It just is what it is. It's reality. It's hard, right? Not messed up, but there's challenges, there's hardships. And if I can help individuals in regards to get through the day, or find different ways to get through the days, in a much more effective way, or a positive way, or a healthy way, I would love to do that. So you guys have an amazing day. Thank you very much. Talk to you later. Bye.